So, if-else statements. There's something that's really important in all programming language. We have it in all of the programming language, but maybe the syntax of them can be different. Let's go and let's understand what is if-else. Let's assume that we want to have a condition. For example, we want to say if A equal to B, please do something for us. If A, for example, is not equal to B, please do something for us. It's something like this. If is something happen, do something. Let's go and let's see what we can handle this. We have an age variable with amount of, for example, 18, and simply we can write if age, let's see, greater or equal than 20, we can simply say print, just a simple print, you are not allowed to, no, you are more than 20 years old, something like this. So in these lines of code, I define a variable with age, name, and after that I put a condition on name and said if this happen, so please do this for us. Make attention, we will need these spaces. Let me run this code at first. What will happen in your idea? What will happen here? What it should show to us. Let's run it. Let's run it again. Let's run it again. Nothing. Why? Because this condition is false. In the if statement, if the condition that we are writing here, the output of the condition will be true, it will go and will run these codes that we have in if statement. If it's false, so it ignore all the codes and it don't do anything. So in this case it's false and it won't print this. Okay, let me for example put something here. Let me put true. If true, it means it's always true, so you should go and print this line for me. Let's see. Yes, exactly, we have that. Let's put it as false. What will happen? If false, can you see? It make this line as a gray line. It's saying that this if statement, it's always return false as a condition, and we are not able to run the code that you have here. So if I run that, you can see we don't have anything as our output. Okay, so let me have the first condition that I did. So in this case, as you can see, when I run the application, there is nothing to show up here, and nothing will execute in our code because the condition is false. We have another keyword and statement here. We can say else. What does it mean? Let me print something. You are more than, let's say less than, something that it's a sample. So what will happen in this if else statement? It's saying that if the age variable that we have is greater or equal to 20, you should do these lines of code, this line of code. Otherwise, if it's false, you should go here and run the codes that we have in else statement. So let me run that, and as you can see here, we can see you are less than 20 years old. So it's false, and it's going here in the else and run this. What will happen if I put this variable and change the amount of this to 22? What will happen? You are more than 20 years old. So this condition will be true. and it will go and run the codes that we have in if statement. But what happened with the code that we have in else? It's else, if else. If it's true, so do this, otherwise it means if it's not true. So right now the condition is true, it will just execute the codes that we have in if statement. For example, we can have many other print or any other code, something like this, for example. As you can see, it will go through and run the code because the statement, the condition we have here is true. Okay, so we have if, we have else. What are these spaces? What will happen if I remove them? If I remove these spaces, it will return an error for us, and it said we should have that spaces. After you, for example, want to write if, and after you want to write else, it means the codes that you should define the codes that should happen under the if statement. It means if we have 100 lines of code under the if statement, all of them should have this kind of a space, for a space. If you delete them and tap on the tab button on your keyboard, it will automatically fix that and will put the spaces for us. So it's really important to have these kind of spaces. Then the compiler will execute all the codes that these space for this if condition. So let's go and let's have some example here. Let's assume that we want to provide some login functionality. We have username here. I should define the username. The username is, for example, Hossein, my name, and FO. And the password can be something like, for example, admin123. These are the user and password that we have. We want to let me write something. Input underline username. We'll use input, and after that I can say enter your username. So let me comment them out, and after this let me just print something like this for you. Username is I want to just this one. I don't want this. I want to print out this input username for you. Okay, so what is this line doing? Line 11, I mean. If I execute this, let me put some spaces here and run it again. As you can see, it says enter your username. The input that we have, I defined the variable, and amount of that variable is an input, and it's something message that we can show to the user. So it means when you run the application, you will, for example, write something here, and as soon as you press enter, it will put the text that you entered in the input username. So right now, input username, it prints it out for us, and as you can see, it's same as something that we typed here. So we want to get username and password from user. So we should do something like this: import password, enter your password. When I run this, and after that, let's just print them. Print input username and input password. Okay, let me run it. As you can see here, as soon as I tap on this start button, it will come to us and ask from us about our username. For example, this is our username and this is our password. and it will, after I tap enter, it will print and go to this line. Another point that we should take care here, it means our application will block until user type something for this and tap enter. Nothing will happen. For example, if I have line 11 and 12, we should type something for these two, and after that our application will go through other lines. So we are getting data from the user, username and password. Let's define some username and password. We should say, for example, if we want to say if user put this username and this password, user will be able to log into the application. How we can handle that? This input username is something that we are getting from the user, that user type here. And these variables that I define here is a username that and password that we expect from user to write. Let me write some if statement here. If input username equal to username. So let's go to AND operator that we talked about. And input password equal to password, print you can log in now. Otherwise, else print please enter valid credentials. Okay, in this case it's checking if both of the username and password is true. In this case we should use AND. We don't want to log in user if, for example, just the username is true, or if the password is just true. So in this case we should use AND, not OR. Or something for let's go and run this with OR one time and let's see what will happen. Let me run this. It says what is your username. Let me write Hussein FO, and after that my password, for example, 1234. Enter. As you can see, it said you can log in now. But the password was wrong. The password that I entered was wrong. What happened? In the if statement here, input username was equal to username, as you can see here. And in this case, because we have OR here, if one of them is true, the whole output of this condition will be true, and if condition will be run these lines of code. So if I put it as AND and change it to AND and run it again, as you can see, for example, let's have this one, and as you can see here, in this case it's print out please enter valid credentials. What happened? Username was correct, but the password was not. This is true, this is false. Complete condition will be false because we have AND here, and it will go and run the else statement for us. Let me run it again, and if I put the invalid credential, as you can see, we have this you can log in now. So I talked about if and else statement. They are really important, and just please make applications like this for yourself and explain the and the or functionality and if and else statement for yourself. It will be really helpful for you to understand why we are using if else statement.